Hi everyone, this is Alan Fine. I'm here at the 40th Annual Conference and Marketplace for USTOA at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge in Phoenix. I'm here with my friend John Hanratty, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for Avanti Destinations, and this is Insider Travel Report. John, I'm so glad we're finally doing this.
Me too. We had a great trip in the UK, and we're finally catching up after a couple of weeks, getting on back on the road again. So
how did this trip come about?
We've had a over a year long-standing relationship with Visit Britain. We did our initial promotion with them last January through March. The results of that promotion were so strikingly good that Visit Britain came back for a second round, and hopefully we're going to go to the third round. And quite honestly, at this stage of the game, the fam trips that came all are supporting their campaign around the flavors of Britain to really give the travel agent and their consumers the idea that Britain is not just London. It's about what's outside of London, and it's about the culinary and the drink experiences that exist throughout the country.
Right. And culinary and drink we did. I have a list here to help us remember, and some of the things were so proprietary that you got to go with Avanti to even do them.
Absolutely, we really constructed, I think was the best word, wonderful itinerary for the travel agents we took, and of course, Alan, you were with me on my leg of the trip, which went up to York and Harrogate, and then on to Edinburgh.
Right.
And we had some great, unique experiences, not only in London when the whole group was together, but I think certainly when we got off the beaten track and got first class rail up to York, it was fabulous.
It was now one of my favorites was our special tour of Tower of London.
Yes, I mean, that was a really unique, that was our really first day together in London, and quite honestly, before the Tower of London opened for the general public, we had a private excursion to
look at the jewels without anyone in front of us blocking us.
And not only to look at them, because I've done that trip before, but it's the description of the history of them, which you wouldn't get if you were just going through.
The guide was fabulous.
It was absolutely fabulous, and I learned so much about the history, and I'd actually seen them before, but you just walked through, if you would, and it okay, they look beautiful, but you didn't know the history. So
right.
Well, from there, I remember we went to the Shard directly from there, okay, which is obviously the newest tallest building in London. We got to go to the observatory at the top of that, and then from there off to Borough Market, and a great lunch venue to see all of the marketplace and how Londoners shop for their food.
We could eat around the world in one place.
And then we capped that afternoon off with a visit to the Beefeater Distillery, where we learned how Beefeater gin is made, and the various flavors of gin that we have. I don't think many of us knew.
I did not know that every drop of Beefeater gin came out of that facility. That there are no others.
It's amazing, and when you looked at the size of the facility, it didn't look that big, but it's a 24/7 operation. They're just continuing making new batches up and shipping it around the world. So
then the next day we went to see Princess Diana's installation.
We went to Kensington Palace on the next day. We got to see the collection of Diana's gowns and dresses, which was really fabulous, and got to tour a part of Kensington Palace. Of course, Kensington Palace is also where many of the royals still live, who are the offspring of the Queen. So yeah,
we didn't bother them too much, and then we had a special private lunch at the Horticultural Society.
We went to Wellesley Gardens, and we had a wonderful lunch where all of the produce that was served was grown there, and then a tour of the gardens. It was very, very lovely.
Then the Meantime Brewery.
We went to the Meantime Brewery, learned how Meantime brews their beer, and then we also had, I think that the capper of the whole London experience was a dinner in the Houses of Parliament. And that was fabulous. I mean, and certainly an experience that we'd like to share with small groups that might be going, or even large groups now that Avanti's selling the larger groups, with the same kind of an event can be booked.
It was amazing to actually walk those Howland halls and then eat there.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Harrogate was beautiful.
In Harrogate we did a food tour. We got there in the afternoon after our rail journey from London to York. We transported over in a couple of vans over to Harrogate, and lovely little town.
Not just vans; these were great coaches.
Absolutely, and
Mercedes-Benz coaches.
Yes, they were. They were Mercedes-Benz coaches. Yes, they were smaller coaches, but we went over there and we had a food walking tour, which was terrific. And I think the highlight for me of the whole food was a Yorkshire pudding that was just at its where it tasted like beef bourguignon in a flaky crust. So it was
Yorkshire pudding in Yorkshire was something on my bucket list.
Pretty cool. The other things that we did when we were up in the York area,
known for chocolate.
Known for chocolate, we went to the chocolate factory. We also, one of the things that's a favorite of mine is I went to the Rail Museum.
Oh, of course.
And
yes.
I'm a train buff, and I think a lot of people in the industry know that. And certainly getting to see the collection of trains, and even they had one of the earliest bullet trains from Japan, which was amazing to me. And I actually got to sit in. From York, we went on to Edinburgh, and then we did a 4-hour walking tour all the way up the hill to the top of Edinburgh Castle from where we down in the city, and then literally
we got to look at Diagon Alley 2 different ways. Don't forget in York where the film was shot,
yes.
And then we saw the actual alleyway in Edinburgh that inspired that.
That's absolutely true. And then we did.
And we saw Hogwarts. From Edinburgh Castle, we looked down and we saw the building that inspired that.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. The second day in Edinburgh, we did another food tour, very much of local shops, which was very, very interesting. Then in the afternoon, we went to the whiskey experience, which was also experience, and we saw a collection of whiskey bottles. I think there were 3,300, if my memory serves me right, something like that.
I'll post the real number.
Okay, of bottled, unopened whiskeys, and it was fabulous to see. Right. And we capped off our trip to Edinburgh that night with the Edinburgh Experience, which was really song and dance of Scotland. So a fabulous trip altogether. We ended up we all ended back in London at the end of the trip. Kind of compared notes, and all 3 groups had a fabulous time. And then we went to see a play.
Everybody's talking about Jamie, so you get to see an actual show in London. It was a perfect ending at Trafalgar Square.
Absolutely, and then the next day everybody headed for home. So great trip, great experience, and I think our 30-plus agents who were on the trip came away with an idea that Britain is certainly much more than just London.
Right. Well, John, thank you for taking us for a tour of the tour, and thank you for spending.
Always happy to do it, Alan. Thank you.
This is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.